believe it? Can you believe you got socialist health care coming in? Can you believe you got wide open borders? Can you believe the government, when ICE does fake raids on illegals for the news, every time on record, AP reports, they take them and give them, you know, every time it's one of these big fake raids of a meat packing place or whatever, or Walmart, they give them green cards on the spot. Kind of like the show fence they built part of. They had illegals build it, Fox News AP as well. So here you go. This is what's going on. And notice that re-education camp is directly out of the Soviet model. They use the term re-education. Psychological warfare officers for re-education. And by the way, I notice there's all these recently retired or out of the Army and Marines PSYOP officers are suddenly going all over YouTube with their documents, their names, going, yeah, it's all real. The good thing is the military at the grassroots level and even the mid-level officer level is salt-of-the-earth good people, and they're blowing the whistle. You know, I opened the phones up all last week with military, police calling in, going, it's all real, it's true, it's terrible. We're being trained to take on the American people. We're using police locally to raid gun dealers. Oh, yeah, the military dresses up with police illegally to raid gun dealers all over the country. There's a giant, covert, illegal operation that's now lining up like the Nazis lining up on the border of Poland in 1940 or 1939. And then how did Hitler do it? He staged a terror attack against his own military base and blamed it on the Poles. Gleiwitz. Look up Gleiwitz. Just Hitler staged terror attack. Gleiwitz. Mainline history. This is what the bankers do. This is how they do it. They control the whore media, the globalist collaborator media. They've got a collaborator population. It's like I live in a fascist country, folks, if you study history. I was at the YMCA, and all there was around me this weekend working out was support the troops, the military loves you, and environmental propaganda. You'd think I was in the Soviet Russia. Let me give you a news flash. When you're in a country and everywhere you go and every TV show you watch, whether it's the Super Bowl or Kentucky Derby or the YMCA, and all it is about troops and troops in uniforms at the Kite Festival and TSA running checkpoints and, oh my gosh, watch your neighbor, that's not a free society. And it's not that the military's bad. It's that we've got a couple graphics at Infowars.com. Every day we put up a new political satire piece. And have one of those moments. What do you call it when you put up a... you have to hit the mic. Go ahead. I can't hear you. No. It's not an epiphany. Yeah, those mics are always too low. I don't understand it. I don't even know why we even have them. But that's fine. No, I mean a political cartoon. What do you call those? Yeah, no, I know what satire is. No. What do you call cartoons? What do you call cartoon art? What do you call that in the newspaper? Comics, political comic. Yeah, but that's not the proper term. It'll come to me in a moment. Everybody out there listening on the radio knows the name. But continuing, it says, well, I don't agree with Hitler's policies, but I still believe that we should support our troops. And it shows Nazis marching down the road in Nazi Germany and an old woman talking to an old man. And that's exactly what the Germans said. The tyrants say the troops want more wars. The tyrants say the troops want to be on the streets. The tyrants say that support the troops, let the TSA stick their hands down your pants. This is fascism. Yeah, before I went to break, I was having one of those moments where I couldn't draw up the proper name for something. At the bottom of Infowars.com, every day on the right-hand side, Kurt Nemo and other great webmasters and writers over there post powerful political cartoons or political art. And there's one called from NewWorldDigest.com. Well, I don't agree with Hitler's policies, but I still believe that we should support our troops. And it's very powerful. Maybe we'll put that on screen for people. It shows a tank rolling down the middle of a Berlin square with troops goose-stepping, and an old lady's talking to an old man. And that is exactly what's going on in this country. And don't say you weren't warned. Because I want to explain something to you. The Congress has been told they're not over war yet. The Congress has been told they don't get to see PDD 51. The Congress has been told they don't get details of the NSA center that they admit spies on the American people without warrants that they've built in Utah. I mean, I've got a CNET news article where the FBI openly admits they're spying on everybody without warrants now and is demanding that all the new software coming out has back doors so they can go in without warrants. That's not a free society. So again, you go to the bottom of Infowars.com, right-hand side to see that. Also, in the featured stories area, there's another cartoon, and it says bank. And it shows a little robber coming in with his mask on, holding up a gun, and there are 3 bank tellers dressed as robbers as well, laughing because they're about 20 feet tall compared to him, because they're the real robbers. Okay? Yeah, there's the Nazi one. And then you've got the one with the robbers that say Banco. That's, I guess that's out of France or Spain. The point is it wake up! Wake up! This is out of control! We've now got Army manuals on how they're going to take people to re-education camps for their political views. This is out of control. The Congress is told, sit down and shut up. They send in the generals now with the Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman and the rest of them, and arrogantly tell Congress, no, you're not in charge anymore. The UN is. I've played those clips over and over again. This is treason. This is a joke. Look at Europe. They've thrown out Sarkozy now, and the socialist has been put in. Exactly who they wanted. And now they've put socialist Hollanday in there. He's won the French presidency. Merkel's in trouble. She loses power in the state election. Soon she'll be out. Angry voters deliver blow to Greece's ruling coalition. The problem is in most of these countries, they just put in the second string owned by the bankers. And who's funding Agenda 21 and UN takeovers and all this? Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, #1 funders of it. They want to get rid of your property rights because they want to use government to take your property and give it to them. Now, this video is of Larry Grathwohl, and this all came out in federal court. We have the documents, the articles, all of it linked at the top of Infowars.com. We played this many times over the years. But notice he's talking about Bill Ayers, the guy that helped put Obama through college, who helped pay for his house, his mentor, who said in these Weatherman meetings and giving orders out to be sent out to the subcommittees that we're going to take over America, we're going to bring in foreign troops. That's now in official documents, NLE 09, National Level Exercise 09, FEMA, with troops from 15 foreign countries. They said, we're going to come into America and we're going to take tens of millions of people, well, over that, to these re-education camps, and we're going to kill 25 million people. And folks, they mean business, okay? They're not setting up checkpoints and threat fusion centers and giant black tanks and federalizing the police for Al-Qaeda. I told you, Al-Qaeda works for them. That's now admitted. They now admit it's for you. It's for you. America has been hijacked. America has been taken over. I don't know how else to tell you. And a lot of people are waking up. That's why they're selling 5 million guns a month. Let's go to this clip and then to your phone calls. Here is from the 1982 documentary, breaking this down with Larry Grathwohl. Here it is.
I brought up the subject of what's going to happen after we take over the government. We become responsible then for administrating, 250 million people.
They want to kill you.
And there was no answers. No one had given any thought to economics. How are you going to clothe and feed these people? The only thing that I could get was that they expected that the Cubans and the North Vietnamese and the Chinese and the Russians would all want to occupy different portions of the United States. They also believed that their immediate responsibility would be to protect against what they called the counter-revolution. And they felt that this counter-revolution could best be guarded against by creating and establishing re-education centers in the Southwest.
Good pause. Back it up 5 seconds. Homeland Security was always for the American people. And while they've got you saluting plastic made in China American flags bought at Walmart, while they've got you busy taking your flu shot and getting Alzheimer's, while they're busy doing all this, while you're busy worshiping the system as if that's patriotism, you've always been the enemy. And now it's announced. White Al-Qaeda is the #1 threat. Domestic threats. They're not worried about foreign enemies. It was always for you, because the enemies, the same people that shipped guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment, the terrorist, that was a problem, reaction, solution, false flag, they are in control. But only by recognizing that do we have any hope to turn this around. And by the way, we are turning it around. Continue.
And establishing re-education centers in the Southwest, where we would take all the people who needed to be re-educated into the new way of thinking and teach them how things were going to be. I ask, well, what is going to happen to those people that we can't re-educate, that are die-hard capitalists? And the reply was that they'd have to be eliminated. And when I pursued this further, they estimated that they would have to eliminate 25 million people in these re-education centers. And when I say eliminate, I mean kill. 25 million people. I want you to imagine sitting in a room with 25 people, most of which have graduate degrees from Columbia and other well-known educational centers, and hear them figuring out the logistics for the elimination of 25 million people. And they were dead serious.
That's from the documentary No Place to Hide. And that all came out in federal court. They admitted to this. Now, the Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, they openly fund this communist movement. The UN is saying break off the Southwest and give it to Mexico right now. I told you that was coming years ago. This is not a game. And I've been sent by police the training videos where FEMA, I mean, it's in my film Road to Tyranny. You can watch it for free online. Talk about, it's right out of Red Dawn, where they got everybody in a re-education camp, and they're saying the founding fathers are pieces of filth and all this. Forget Red Dawn, some Hollywood image of a commie takeover. I have FEMA teaching a room full of Kansas City police, firemen, and sheriff's deputies that the founding fathers were evil, that George Washington was bad. And I could open the phones up right now and take calls from police in 50 states saying they've been given that training. There are cops listening right now getting chills who've been given the same training. Come on! They're saying George Washington's bad! They're the enemy! I mean, how hard does this have to get? And the reason I get so angry is I got 50 phone calls here I want to take. I got guests coming up that came all the way here from Oklahoma. They're actually here locally for an event, but I heard they were here and got them in here. The point is, I'm just going crazy. I just want to warn people. I just want to get the word out about this. I want to stop these globalists. I want my country back. I want to recognize this criminality. The Congress says you cannot shut down power plants, coal power plants, under UN rules. Obama says go to hell, and did it, but only so his buddies made money. It's not even about the environment, and moves our jobs to China and pays $20+ billion in bailout money to move the Volt and Cadillac factories to China. Look it up. I told people that 2 years ago. They didn't believe it. It's all over the news last week that they've now finished them. You paid to move it. Only an enemy would do that. And if you think Mitt Romney's going to save you, he's bought and paid for. The big banks want this. We are under sustained siege, culturally, psychologically, spiritually, economically. You are the enemy. The globalists hate the Iraqis because they were free, because they were under their control, and they hate you even more. The New World Order hates the American people 110%. And the day you realize that, the day you realize this isn't our government, the day you realize crooks have taken this country over, is the day we start turning this thing around. Look at the fascism all around you. It's a synthesis of fascism and communism. That's what the bankers create. The globalists are exempt offshore, a fascist combine, controlling you through socialism and communism. Hour number 2, only minutes away. Stay with us. Your phone calls and more. The Republic will resist the death camps of Obama. You know, that's why I get frustrated and overheat and start gibbering. I've covered about 2-3 stacks out of about 15. We got